This one is called Thomas. Just Thomas in all caps. After what I've seen, I'll never be able to look at Thomas the Tank Engine the same way. I was taking a stroll through a car boot sale, whatever the fuck that is, when I came across an older man who kind of looked a bit shaggy and a bit terrified. The table he had consisted of a Granny Smith apple, evidently for him, no shit Sherlock, a rusty tin to hold his money, yeah again thank you Captain Obvious, and a VHS. Throughout this entire creepypasta, the guy just says VHS, not VHS tape, like a normal person would do, which had a reasonably rotten sticker on the bottom of the casing, which read out, Thomas! Just Thomas! Me, having quite an extensive Thomas the Tank Engine collection, and being a fan of the classic Thomas episodes, took it upon myself to buy this VHS. When I picked up the VHS, the older man woke up with a fright, and so I asked him how much he wanted for the VHS. He simply said, "He's going to find you. Take it and burn it." In other words, I got it for free, cause this old man's an idiot and didn't just burn the tape himself. Good! At home, I went straight to my room and shoved the VHS straight into my old TV. It took a while to load up, but once it did, I got a chair and sat down to watch. The VHS started with the Thomas theme tune. It was slightly lower pitched and slower than usual. The colors were quite dull, and the windmill, which was supposed to be moving around, was just still. Truly, this is a horrifying story. As for Thomas himself, well, he was going a bit faster than usual, as if he was running along to get something. The credits at the bottom of the screen were glitched, and the first two letters of each word were cut out. The next scene, where Thomas is supposed to go under the bridge, no one was actually on the bridge, was the same visuals as before, dull color, fast Thomas. Now we get to see Thomas's face. He looked a bit more sinister than he usually was. The strangest thing was that Annie and Clarabelle, Thomas's two coaches, weren't actually there. Thomas was actually alone. I began to feel uneasy. Then came the last scene, where Thomas pulls into the station. Dull color, fast Thomas again. Thank you. I never would have guessed. The station itself looked abandoned. The roof was missing a lot of tiles, the walls were covered with graffiti, and some of the odd bits and bobs on the platform were either bent or broken. Thomas pulls up, still coachless, ain't no fucking shit, and still wearing his sinister smile. Just before the intro ended, an image flashed on the screen for about one frame. From what I could make out, it looked like the Fat Controller. He actually looked human, instead of the plastic figurines they used for the show. He seemed genuinely horrified, as if he had been really horribly scared. He had scars and bruises all over his face in the shape of a smiley face. Like this. It's literally just an emoticon of a smiley face. The episode finally started, or at least what was supposed to be the episode. In its place was just Thomas, and some random footage of him going around an empty railway. It was literally empty. There was no sign of Gordon, James, or even little Percy. All this lasted for about 1 minute until something even the slightest bit interesting happened. Grammar. What is grammar? Also, he must have had like a stopwatch to precisely count how long that was. Thomas came up to a single troublesome truck, but it looked scared, as if it knew what was coming its way. Thomas was coupled up to it and started to build up steam, but he never actually moved forward. He was just skidding in place. He was getting faster and faster. The truck wasn't going anywhere. It had its brakes on. Thomas then realized this and gave one substantial big tug, which later resulted in the truck to break into planks and splinters. What is this grammar? And by the way, it links to a video, like a shitty Gmod video. Don't worry about it. Completely unnecessary. Thomas then turned his eyes to me and said, "Now do you realize what I've done?" However, he didn't sound like Ringo Starr or Michael Andrews, the two British narrators for the show. His voice was deep and kinda croaky. But yes, I did realize what he's done. He was the one responsible for the railway being empty. He killed all the engines and residents of the railway, just like the troublesome truck. He was evil! Then he said, "Yes, that's right." Evidently he knew what I was thinking. Now that's just messed up. Then the screen cuts to black, which then fades into a picture of, no, it couldn't be. It was the older man from earlier today. He looked dead. In fact, he was dead! Who else was there to blame? It was obviously Thomas who did this, who then appears on the screen. What happened next was truly horrifying. Thomas's face was on the screen, and his eyes were actually empty. There was nothing there. Instead, there was blood streaming from his face. The sound. Oh god, the sound! It was just screeching. Really loud screeching. I couldn't take much more of this. I ejected the VHS, practically ripping it out before it correctly came out. Then I heard a sound. Now my house is located near a switching yard, with a bunch of wagons and tankers in the sidings. What I heard was familiar. It sounded like a steam engine whistle. It sounded like Thomas! The end.